Good evening. I'm Tom Yamas, in for David tonight, and we begin with the stunning blow to the Senate plan to repeal and replace Obamacare. The Republican leaders unable to get the votes to even bring it to the floor for debate. President Trump inviting all 52 GOP senators to a meeting at the White House. Opposition to the plan had been growing within their own ranks. And Democrats keeping the pressure on, too. Take a look at this, demonstrating with pictures of their constituents who they say would be harmed by the Senate plan. And tonight, the Senate leaders saying this is only a delay and they will keep their promise to end Obamacare. ABC's Mary Bruce on Capitol Hill starting us off tonight.
Senate Republicans tonight headed to the White House, leaving behind any hope of passing health care this week.
Clearly, there's a little more negotiation to do in getting to 50.
Heads hung low in the East Room with the president.
This will be great if we get it done, and if we don't get it done, it's just going to be something that we're not going to like, and that's okay, and I understand that very well.
A disappointing end to a day that began with optimism from Republican leaders.
I expect to have the support to get it done, and yes, we will vote this week.
But it became increasingly clear the votes simply weren't there.
What are you hoping to hear from the Vice President tonight? Is there anything he can say to change your mind?
Good morning.
I'll take that as a no. No comment still?
No comment.
Do you think Republicans are going to get this done this week?
I don't have any comment right now.
Thank you, sir.
Not helping Republican leaders, the grim outlook from the Congressional Budget Office, revealing 22 million more Americans would be uninsured in 10 years under the Senate bill, 15 million more uninsured next year alone, nearly $800 billion cut from Medicaid.
We refuse to do the root cause analysis. We refuse to be honest, and I would say courageous enough to point out that all these things that sound nice have very serious negative unintended consequences.
Republicans could afford to lose just 2 votes. But tonight, there are now 9 GOP senators who say they cannot support this bill. Moderates because it cuts too deep. Conservatives because it doesn't cut enough.
This is not just abstract numbers. These are real people.
Outside the Capitol, Democrats tried to put a face to the bill, holding pictures of Americans they say will suffer. While inside, the vice president arrives to rally Republican support. The president's chief of staff and press secretary are spotted too. But their all-out push fails to do the trick.
We will not be on the bill this week, but we're still working toward getting at least 50 people in a comfortable place.
And Mary Bruce joins us from Capitol Hill. And Mary, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell came out of that White House meeting tonight saying they've got a really good chance of eventually striking a deal. But Mary, tonight the math is getting worse, not better.
Yeah, and Tom, in just the last few hours, even more Republicans have come out against this bill. Opponents say they want fundamental changes, not just tweaks. Republicans will now use their 4th of July recess to work on a new version of the bill. But, Tom, they could also face harsh pushback from constituents back at home, something they were hoping to avoid.
A lot of work still to be done. All right, Mary, thank you. ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl was there as senators wrapped up their meeting with the president. John, what was the president's message to those senators, and what did they tell him?
The senators heard a pep talk from the president talking about how this was a top priority for him and for the Republican Party and for the country. He spent most of the time, though, listening to their concerns, including concerns from moderate Republicans about those Medicaid cuts. His advice on that was to put more money into the bill. You remember he had called the House bill mean. He said this bill needs to have more heart. His solution today was to put more money in it. And, Tom, they heard a warning from Republican leader Mitch McConnell, who said if they cannot strike a deal there among the Republicans, that they're going to have to end up negotiating with Democrats who ultimately want to preserve Obamacare.
Jonathan Karl for us tonight at the White House. John, thank you.